If you're a lefty right now, then chances are you're in a pretty bad place mentally. And just to really rub salt in the wound, the right, MAGA, the conservatives, the hardcore Trump supporters, you better believe that they have been out there searching for every Kamala Harris supporter they can find to rub the fact that Trump won in their face. Even if you're not really, like, visibly upset about it, they do it anyway just to maybe get a rise out of you. I think it's important to remember that for a lot of conservatives, and this is going to be important later on in this segment as a point, a lot of conservatives don't just want their ideology to win and to be dominant. They want there to be progressives and lefties in their orbit whom they can enjoy the misery of. They want the left to lose, but for there to be a lot of lefties constantly upset about the left losing, so they can derive joy from it. A core tenet of right-wing entertainment media is, triggering the libs, for example, right? Meanwhile, if a platform can be made where there are no Nazis or far right-wingers and it's just progressives, then people will flock to that platform on the left because they don't want to be on a platform with Nazis, but Nazis desperately want to be on a platform with libs and progressives. They so badly want us in their lives for one reason or another, but they also do not want us to leave them. They also do not want to be nice to us. They also do not want to be respectful towards us. And this is all culminated in a metric shitload of Trump supporters being dropped, disowned, cut off by family and friends after these election results. Now, normally, I don't watch Midas Touch videos on stream because I don't find them all that conducive to a good segment in terms of my reaction. However, this one is an exception. I watched it on my own time, so I have already seen this, but I found that it was very well structured for a segment, and so we're going to watch it really quick, just like the first half of it. And man, it should be some real catharsis for those of you guys who have been feeling a bit sore after conservatives have been rubbing salt in the wound of Trump's victory. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yikes! Trump supporters instantly ruined their lives with their vote. Let's find out what's going on, how they ruin their lives.
Some of Donald Trump's voters are already facing the consequences of their votes, and we are now seeing panic, fear, and regret amongst individuals in the MAGA community. Whether it's workers and businesses being impacted by tariffs, Trump voters realizing their families will no longer talk to them, or reality setting in that Trump actually wants to do all those horrible things he promised on the campaign trail, we are seeing signs of this instant regret all over the place.
Now, I think it's important that we very much laugh hysterically at all the people who voted Trump that experience the consequences of their vote, who get exactly what they voted for, and tell them, we tried to tell you, buddy, we tried to tell you. But it can't just be bullying, because you got to remember, it can't just be bullying. Think of how the right does it. They ridicule and bully people for being progressive or like left-leaning, but then they also offer the out of stop being a cuck and be conservative. It's not just, you're a cringe piece of shit, all your problems are deserved, go fuck yourself. It's, you were a piece of shit, you deserve what you got, and you made this happen to yourself, but that can change. You can become based. There has to be an out. I don't know how rhetorically we should do that just yet. I kind of want to refine that rhetoric a little bit, so I'll get back to you on it. But I certainly think that we need to adopt that method of like endless ridicule for those that fuck themselves by being conservative, but also having the out of, you can also stop being a cuck by not being conservative anymore.
My name is Brett Meiselas here with the Midas Touch Network. Remember to hit subscribe if you are not backing down from this fight for our democracy. Let's dive right in. Here is a woman who voted for Donald Trump, who is now devastated that her family, her grandma, her mother, her sister, will not speak to her anymore. Watch this.
This is my last political post, video. Okay? I'm gonna lay it to rest. Let me just tell you guys, I'm not crying happy tears. I'm not gonna be apologetic for being excited, because if it was the other way around, all of the Kamala supporters would celebrate.
Yes. Donald Trump ran on a platform of hate and division. He actively tried to overturn our democracy. He's a felon. He has a rape record. He has like a record of being a dishonest liar towards the American people. He has a record of promising violence against the American people. And so, yes, Donald Trump stood for a lot of things that made progressives, and I should probably say mostly marginalized groups such as black people who voted overwhelmingly Dem for this reason, made it very clear that they're afraid, right? They're afraid of what will happen if Trump wins. And a victory for Harris was not going to be like, we're celebrating because the Trump supporters are upset. There'd be a bit of that. Don't get me wrong. The hardcore MAGA folks who just hate minorities so much they can't help but have a meltdown if Trump loses, that would be funny to make fun of them. But people who genuinely thought Trump was going to help the economy, being bummed about it, I'd feel bad for, because not only were they misinformed, but now they feel bad that their guy didn't win and it wasn't because of hate. I'd want to inform them on why they voted wrong in that scenario. At least that's me, but, she's not wrong to a degree, but there's a very different reason why they're celebrating. Trump supporters are celebrating because they're in a cult. When you ask a Trump supporter, do you dislike anything about Trump? They answer no, because they are in a cult. They don't have a reasonable opinion. If someone asks you, do you dislike anything about Harris or Biden? Okay, can you sit down for a moment? Let's start with guns. It's like, yeah, you can absolutely do that if you're a progressive on the left, right? There's tons of areas where you could start criticizing your candidate, and you really want to, and you do generally. The left does not have a tendency to fall mindlessly behind their candidate like the right does. And so, there's a reason why the celebration from the right is seen as hateful. It's like you're rubbing the salt in the wound of all these marginalized groups that are about to lose rights, particularly women and their access to their own bodily autonomy and their own bodily rights. It makes sense why your celebration of that would be very different than if they celebrated the securing of their rights.
I want to say that first. I'm very relieved because I voted what I believe in, and I felt heavy on my heart that it's the right thing. So knowing that it was the decision the American people made, I'm relieved and I'm very happy. Very, very happy, okay? It's the very first day of finding out the election results.
But the working class, come on, he is the embodiment of nepotism. Well, Klon 589, as you know, the more educated you are, the higher the likelihood is, by exponentially so, with the more education you have, that you'll vote Democrat. And we have found from a new literacy survey that just came out 2 days ago that about 50% of Gen Z isn't literate enough to read prescriptions or menus at restaurants. Adult Gen Z is not literate enough to read medication prescriptions on bottles. Nearly half. Where do you think they're getting their information from? It's YouTube and podcasts. Gen Z will go to the right. They are illiterate and uneducated. We destroyed the education system by the time they got into school, and there's a reason they are flocking to Andrew Tate. A lot of it is their horrific education standard that they have met. COVID set behind a lot of kids, and they're going to become adults very behind who are almost already, if not already, voting age. We have to save Gen Z. Holy fuck. Yeah. TikTok is actually rotting their brains. It's actual psychological warfare.
Are happy. I'm very happy. But I'm not going to continue to post about it. But I'm also not going to be sorry about it. And I always talked about how my family... Sorry. I don't want to make this more than once. I always talked about how my family had different beliefs. My grandma and my mom and my sister. And how we always...
I can already predict this entire woman's life by the sound of the kid in the background, the nice kitchen, and her entire situation. Wealthy conservative guy picked her up while she was in college, I'm going to guess. They got married, they had a kid, and now she's a housewife who's gone super conservative and votes Trump and is super conservative for her husband, who provides her with a super wealthy life. And she's totally fine just being a housewife and a mom, and has just adopted all the beliefs of her husband at a very young age. Probably got married in or right out of college based on how young she looks. I can literally, that is her life story. I have just read and told you that this woman's entire life story. She came from a progressive family. Now she's a right-wing influencer, and her husband, no, I know, she's an influencer. You know, that's what a lot of house moms do now that have, like, that are, you know, her age. They become TikTokers, and they start talking about their conservative housewife life. It's fine to have this life, but, God, it's just so cringe to see that you can come from a progressive family, and if you're just one of these women who's going to be like, no, I want an MRS degree, then you're going to go for it, and then you're going to back up the patriarchy because it serves your best interests. You got to remember, without women, the patriarchy would die. Women are some of the most valuable tools of the patriarchy they are. Remember, they're the ball in the game of the patriarchy. You got to remember, they are the ball. And on top of that, without their enabling of the patriarchy, it all falls apart. If there aren't women willing to fuck men that act like this, it all falls apart. No ball, no game. But the women continue to stay in the game. Even with the 4B movement, women like this will continue to stay in the game because it serves them best. If they're lazy, they don't want to work, they don't have aspirations to pursue, they want to have the cushy, cozy life that they perceive of a housewife and a woman with no rights or ability to pursue more. Yeah, kind of a kicking the ladder behind them.
Always got along. And I wore my grandma's sweater to go vote, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to cry, okay? But my heart's broken.
Try not to cry.
Yeah, try it. My grandma just sent me a very sad text. It broke my heart.
Hold on, this is a hilarious fucking video, but I also have to show you an adorable picture my mom sent me of the dog. My favorite images of my puppy are when she is side-eyeing the camera. This is the most I've ever seen her side-eye the camera. Look at her. Look at her go. She is judging the crap out of my mom in this photo. That's what dogs are doing when they turn their head away, but they look at you like this. They're judging you. And so they think if they don't look at you, but they're still looking at you, then they're judging you. Won't be as obvious. But they're totally judging you when they do this. And so she is judging the crap out of my mom as this photo is being taken. That dog is so adorable. She is the cutest little puppy ever. She looks like a little lamb.
And my mom has yet to text me back today. My point of making this video is to say that I am very happy.
All right, hold on. We had a chud in chat. Housewife with the kids is lazy and has no aspirations of their own. Yeah, tons of them do. Yeah, what are you, a fucking, like, PC cuck? You gonna deny there aren't women out there that go to college and they get an MRS degree, a term that exists because this is so common, where they just go and find a guy who's gonna be successful and lock down the marriage as soon as they possibly can so they can coast by on a housewife life, something they perceive as easier? Ease of life is a preferential thing. Some people would prefer to dig ditches than to crunch numbers for a data analytics company all day because they prefer to work with their hands than with their head, because they consider hard work, physical hard work, harder work than mental work. Some people don't like physical hard work because that's too much for them, so they prefer mental labor. And so they pursue avenues that require more mental labor. There are plenty of people who have a preference of what they consider easy and what they consider hard work. And for some people, the life of a housewife is what a lot of women opt for because they consider it easy. An easy path, or at least a secure path. Maybe not easy. That's not necessarily fair. Maybe they don't even see it as easy, but it's secure. And it takes responsibility and risk from you and puts it on someone else, right? You're the housewife. You take care of the house. You stay home. You take care of the kids. That is your job. You get it done. You can ensure that that job gets done. The finances, the making sure the bills are paid, the stuff that's scary that could lead to, like, your entire life being flipped upside down in that way, that's on the husband. And for some women, I guess that's seen as a easier path, is to go for the housewife path. And so they go that way. And that's fine to go, but they enforce that. They enforce it because they think that it is an easier path that all women should seek, and it should be the only path, and they obviously tend to have more conservative husbands, and they just cuck out to their conservative husbands. So many women are like this. We got a Squad W, Red Pill, Top G time. So many women are cucks, dude. Legitimately, so many women are cucks, like through and through. They will put up with the shittiest men who cheat on them and are unfaithful and disrespectful towards them, and they will continue to enable it and reward the behavior and mommy them, and they will discourage betterment. You know, it's like, this is just true. This is true. And like, you, to a degree, it's because there's a lot of shitty men out there, but to a degree, we got to admit, like, women gotta, to an extent, get a little bit of the blame for continuing to give these guys the time of day. And that's why the 4B movement is so fucking based. That right there. That is why the 4B movement is so goddamn based. Melania Trump is a good example of the type of woman who normalizes and validates the patriarchy. Yeah, Melania Trump.
And I expressed how happy I was. And I'm not going to be sorry for that. I'm completely heartbroken that my family is taking it how they are. I never did this to them when Biden won. Never. But...
Well, because Biden's victory wasn't going to take away any of your rights. In fact, it was going to possibly codify and protect your rights. You voted to take your mother and grandmother's rights, that your grandmother might have been old enough to be marching for abortion rights in the 1970s on Washington. My grandma was in the 1970s, and you better believe she would be fucking livid had I voted for Trump. She would never have spoken to me again if she was alive today and I had voted for Trump. After, in the 70s, marching on Washington for abortion rights, she would never speak to me again if she found out that her grandson or granddaughter, if I was a woman, I guess, had voted for Trump. Absolutely. To have fought till your old age. So many older progressives who are 70 or 80 years old have been commenting on my videos lately about how pissed they are at the younger people that voted red on this. Yeah, she has absolutely every right to consider you dead to her. Yeah. You've been disowned. These are the people who are on the side of the people that disown their gay kids and their gay grandkids and kick them out of the church groups and disown them and disfellowship them for being gay or trans, okay? Yeah, it's about time you got to feel what that feels like. And yeah, it doesn't feel good, does it? It really hurts, huh? Really hurts, doesn't it? Aww. Does it hurt to get disowned by your family? And you don't even feel the exact same feeling, mind you, because it is correct to be disowned. You're a hateful piece of shit, or at least enable hateful pieces of shit. In the case of the people that you're now feeling the medicine of, they just disown and hate their kids because they're gay. They refuse to just be good, supportive family members. In this case, you deserve this.
I am done with political posts. From here on out, it's back to normal. If you don't like me because of who I voted for and you have to unfollow, go ahead. My own fault.
I never followed you in the first place, but I will say I really enjoyed watching you cry over your social and family life being ruined, over your ignorance and retardation. It was very enjoyable for me, and I'm laughing a lot.
My own family unsubscribed from my life, so you can too, I promise. It doesn't get worse than that.
You know, this is not an isolated case. The thing is, no one's rights were at risk when someone voted for Kamala Harris. That is not the case for those who voted for Donald Trump. And here's another story along those lines. This is shared by somebody named Ashley Smalls. She writes, quote, "My conservative cousin has just found out that he has nowhere to go for Thanksgiving. We've heard him word for word say he doesn't believe women should have property, but he was still expecting women in his family to let him eat at their property." Yeah, she makes a...
No, based. Make sure these people are miserable and lonely and so full of regret for what they did. They didn't want to listen. Turns out they're about to find out how much the marginalized groups in their lives mattered to them once they're gone. Not because Trump got rid of them, but because they're right away dropping those that voted MAGA. This has been a way broader movement than even 4B, mind you. Like, a lot of conservatives are getting dropped from family gatherings. They're not invited to Thanksgiving.
A very good point. Here's another story. This one was shared online by a Trump voter. They wrote the following quote: "I voted for Trump. My wife sent me divorce papers. What do I do? I didn't even know it was possible to be served divorce papers this quickly. I don't even know what to say. I am shocked I married somebody willing to throw away our entire life over politics."
That's the core thing. To you, it's just politics. To her, it's her rights. And you refuse to listen to her. You refuse to hear what she had to say. You wrote it off as just woman garble politics or whatever, because none of this really affected you. And if it did, you would have listened to her. You didn't even care that it affected her, your own wife. So of course she's going to divorce you. And I expect this is going to happen even more. Welcome to your divorce arc, buddy. Join Elon and Trump. Welcome to the club. She should, because she could not divorce him in the future. Lamau, of course, a chud thinks a woman's rights are just politics. Of course, too. Her feelings are just politics as well. Yeah, I love that as well. Her feelings are just politics because she's a woman, you know? Oh, woman's feelings? That's just politics. Why would she let politics ruin our relationship? Yeah. Rest in peace, Trump boy.
Last week we were happy. Today we are getting divorced. She won't have a discussion. She says nothing will change her mind. Insists she is going to report my parents because they live off of disability, but my dad does some cash work auto repair, so now I am worried for my whole family. She wants me to buy her out of the house. We have $300,000 in it, plus built a 4-bay garage since we bought it 3 years ago. I can't afford that. When I told her this, as she was packing
You're about to super not be able to afford it, buddy.
Up her things, she said, quote, "I guess you're finally going to really know how it feels to be effed by a Democrat. Her name is on the deed, but not the mortgage. I'm not confident that I can reason with her. What do I do? Where do I start? How do I fix this? Is anybody else experiencing this in the wake of the election results?" Well,
I guess you're finally going to really know how it feels to be fucked by a Democrat. All right, there are levels to that. She murdered him. So, for starters, now you're really going to know what it feels to be fucked by a Democrat because his, deranged idea that Biden was destroying the economy. There's that. But then also, clearly they weren't having sex because she's a Democrat. You know, like that. There was also a bit of a jab there that they didn't have they clearly didn't have an active sex life in their marriage. Even it clearly wasn't a happy marriage. It was very sexless even up to that point, based on that little jab there, with the layers to that statement.
What you could do is not vote against the interests of the women in your life. Another user online shared the following story. They said, quote, "So my sister-in-law voted Trump, now regrets it. Wants to die. Her daughter's calling her a Nazi. She said she voted for him because she didn't want abortion and believed the lie of teachers giving trans surgery and his policies. When asked about his policies, she could not give one." Here's a story from a mom with 2 daughters in college who are now refusing to go to any family gatherings because their grandmother and aunts, the mom's sisters, voted for Trump. She shared the following, quote, "My kids won't come to Thanksgiving or Christmas. I know, this is fake. I'm a troll. This never happened, blah, blah, blah." This is 100% true. I have 2 daughters that are both in college. We have a family group chat with my parents, all of my siblings, and all the grandchildren. My parents and siblings are all Trump voters/supporters and are not shy about it. Most family gatherings will devolve into arguing between them and myself. I grew up in this shit show. My kids did not. After the election, my kids silently left the group chat. My mothers and sisters are trying to plan Thanksgiving through the chat. When my mother noticed my daughters left, she called to ask me why. I told her they are grown adults, so she would need to ask them. So she did. One of my 2 daughters is lesbian. When my mother asked the 2 girls, they told my mom that they would no longer be attending any family functions, including Christmas and Thanksgiving. This created a shit show on an epic scale in the family chat. My mother tried to explain to my kids that their vote had nothing to do with them. My oldest explained that they exposed their
The MAGA cult is about to be bitchless, penniless, and homieless, and familyless. They're going to be fatherless, penniless, bitchless, maidenless. They're going to be so, and they all voted for it. Like, seriously, guys, put on the Joker makeup and start laughing. These people are celebrating and making fun of you as a meteor comes to fall on all of our heads. So why not just put on the Joker makeup and laugh in their faces?
Character, and they were raised to not engage with people that condone rape, lying, and cheating. She told my mother that your votes will directly impact our lives in a negative way, and you guys did not care. You chose a politician's hollow words over your grandkids. There was more, and I'm paraphrasing. My parents and siblings are furious. I think it's important to say that I pay for both of my kids' college, their health insurance, car insurance, food, and gas. I pay for airfare when they come home. They don't work. My deal with them was if they went to...
Why so curious, Batman? I'm the Woker, baby!
school and got good grades, I would pay if I could. My mother wants me to cut them off until they come to Thanksgiving and Christmas. I said no. I have my kids' backs and they are adults. I will not force them to make a choice they do not want to make. My siblings are saying I am an a-hole and I'm dividing the family. I honestly never thought I would be in this insane situation, but here we are. I commend you for allowing your children to stand for their principles and for you having their backs. I think that shows actual strength in this situation. This is just really tragic stuff we're seeing. I mean, people truly don't seem to understand that when you vote against human rights, and that directly impacts your own family members, don't expect them to act like, oh, it's just politics, everything is okay. Midas Touch contributor Tennessee Brando wrote a brilliant song about all.
This song does bang hard, but we're not going to play it because, it's a song. I don't want to get copyrighted. But that was what we were here for, all those stories. We're like literally a week out from the election now, and we're already seeing countless stories of regret after from Trump voters. The reality is hitting fast, and he's not even president yet. We're not even actually experiencing Trump's financial policies yet, and we won't for months. And people are already starting to realize, wait, that's what a tariff is? Wait, we're not getting Christmas bonuses? Wait, there's going to be mass layoffs at my company? Why? Well, you have to understand, Trump won. He's running on tariffs. That's going to, massively hit our incomes, whether the economy is going to be hit badly. But the eggs are supposed to be cheaper. The economy is going to be amazing. Well, no. That actually, it wasn't political propaganda from the Democrats. No, the tariffs are actually bad. And your political ideology doesn't change what's going to happen to your paycheck, buddy. That's my favorite thing about this. These Trump supporters' political ideology doesn't change what's about to happen to their paycheck. Francisco Q, I appreciate the $5. As my wife and I both voted for Harris, and although we're pretty upset about Trump winning, we're still smashing. That is true. That is true. There are no conservative men with left-leaning wives out there getting any right now. If anything, the only thing they're getting are served divorce papers, as we can see. Anyway. With that said, I think this is a good little palate cleanser from all the conservatives that have been doing the victory lap over Trump's win. Because once again, these are hateful people, and nobody in their lives is going to sit by and watch as they fight for hate and advocate for things that go against their interests. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to fly, Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, if you thought it was entertaining, educational, or enlightening, then please consider dropping a like and a comment. Whether you're watching live or after the fact, every single thumbs up is like casting a blue ballot for YouTube to push my content in the algorithm to more viewers all across the platform. And knowing where the right is right now, dominating the information landscape online, man, we need those likes. We need those comments. They actually compounded each other to boost the content in the algorithm and the channel as a whole. So like and comment, please, if you like the stuff. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't already, so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. Follow my social medias, linked down below in the description if you haven't already, including joining my fan Discord. And if you want to support me directly, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch, because I have Xander Hall merch, through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support the stream, though, I really do appreciate it. You are awesome. And as always, I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you again.